Hey up, and welcome to Corey's Corner. Welcome to a video that was supposed to be just a fun little storytime video about me talking about the time when I was in the army and that kind of thing. But no, you're getting a rant video today, I'm afraid, because I need to get some things off my chest. I'm sorry, just skip this one if you want. But it's been a bag of arse. My first week back at university has been terrible. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad to be back. I'm glad I don't have to put up with my family anymore. And let me just say, as a positive, I guess, I had a lot of difficulty dealing with nofap, because I try my hardest to do nofap, but I was trying to give up alcohol, I was trying to give up porn, all this stuff. When I went back to stay with my family over Christmas, they stressed me out so much that I was relapsing on this. I got really drunk. To be blunt, I was jerking off a lot, to be honest. And now I'm back. I had this theory that basically it's because they were stressing me out so much, that's the reason. And I know if I brought that up to them, they'd be like, oh no, that's not true, that's not fair, and stuff. But the thing is, I'm back now. I've been back over a week. It's been almost 2 weeks now since I've been back. And I wouldn't say I'm not stressed at all, but I haven't fapped, I haven't drank really, and I've been very good at keeping to these things, basically. And I'm pretty convinced it's just my family stressing me out, despite what they'd say. Right, but the positives end there, because as soon as I got back, my senses were bloody assaulted, right? I came back into my apartment, and everything's fine here, right? Everything seems clean and stuff, and there's not many people back yet, which is definitely a positive. But I was dealing with anxiety, and that's the topic. I don't remember if I said, but that's the main topic of the video I'm going to be talking about today, is anxiety. Now, I know when people think of anxiety, people's minds tend to go straight to social anxiety, but that's not what I'm going to be talking about. And that's my first point, is the difference in anxiety in men versus women is stark, right? Now, everyone knows about the differences in depression when it comes to men and women, and everyone is like, oh, no one takes men's depression seriously, yada, yada, yada. And that stuff's true, no one does, believe me. And men are made to feel invalid and all this stuff, and gaslit and blamed, victim blaming when it comes to that, whereas women get more support probably. And we all know men commit suicide more and all this kind of stuff, right? We all know that. But anxiety, I think, is something that gets overlooked by basically everyone, pretty much, because people just think of social anxiety, and I feel like social anxiety is the kind of anxiety that women struggle with more. And so when I had a therapist a while ago, years and years ago, this is the first time I ever had a therapist. I was pretty young, and my family just made me have one for some reason, but I couldn't talk to her, and it was a woman, obviously. All the therapists I've ever had have been women, and the thing about that is they're not going to understand, it's just the truth. They're just going to spout some blue-pilled nonsense at you. But I was talking to her about my anxiety, and she kept talking about social anxiety, and she was like, oh, do you think people are judging you and stuff? And it's like, well, I know people are, I know people are. And she'd try and gaslight me and say well, no, that's not true, you just make it up in your mind. No one really cares about anyone else, everyone's just focused on themselves. And that has got to be the most blue-pilled, cope thing I've ever seen. The idea that no one cares about you is just bullshit, because people look at you all the time and make fun of you. I remember so many times I'd go to school, and I'd get made fun of and shit, and people the idea that oh, people aren't watching you, people don't care, is ridiculous. It's obviously not true, and it's just an attempt because the thing is, I doubt anyone's making fun of her, because she's just a normal looking woman. But as a sub-5 man, you're a target. You have a target on your back the whole time. So it's just someone who can't even understand the position you're in, gaslighting you. That's what it is. But I didn't even have social anxiety. That wasn't even my problem, and to this day isn't my problem. But what I have is anxiety attacks, and I'm hesitant to even call them that, because I know how it sounds. I know it sounds kind of pathetic. Women might be like, oh, I'm having an anxiety attack, my anxiety, I can't deal with this, or whatever. But hear me out, right? So I get anxiety about things like war and disease, and basically things that might befall me, that might cause me harm, right? Real things, not stupid things like social anxiety or having to do a bit of work, right? Those aren't the things that bother me. The things that bother me are real issues, right? That's not to say that they're always like the most realistic things that could happen, but they are the things that bother me. So for example, back in February last year, which is almost a year ago at this point, I, like, for the whole month of February and most of March, and I'm pretty sure I even mentioned this in like one of the videos I uploaded back then, because if you look at my channel, I didn't upload a single video in February. And like, granted, this is like when I was smaller, so I wasn't making that many videos and stuff, but still, I wanted to make videos, but I was bedridden the whole time because my anxiety was like so bad, it was debilitating. And there was no like one thing that caused it, but the two main things were the Chinese spy balloon, if any of you guys remember that. So stupid saying it out loud, but yeah, this, believe it or not, this actually caused me to be stuck in bed for a whole month. And the second thing was the UFO that they shot down or something. I still don't even know what happened with that. And I thought like we were being invaded by aliens. Again, no, it doesn't make any sense, and it's pretty stupid looking back, but I was prepared to die. I'm not exaggerating when I say I was prepared to die. And around halfway through February, before Valentine's Day, I guess, because I remember Valentine's Day is the day I had to go and spend it with like my family and stuff, and at that point I felt a little bit better. But like in early February, one night I just woke up in the middle of the night. I just lost it. I was seeing all these things. There were like blotches going in my vision, and like I was seeing different colors and stuff, and like really stark imagery, and just weird. Like I was losing it. I really was losing it. And sleep doesn't help with that either, because the thing is, I just got back from Australia. Back then I was working for some time and staying with my family in Australia, and I just got back, and it's like a 20-something hour flight, 19 hours, 20 hours one way from London to Western Australia. And when I got back, like my sleep schedule's all out of focus, or out of sync. Not out of focus, that doesn't make any sense. My sleep schedule's all out of whack, and the thing is, my sleep in Australia was amazing, because the thing is, I had nothing to do. I had no video games. I'm not going to watch porn when I'm just staying with my family, so I'm not going to stay up to do any of that shit. And I have work the next day, so I have to get up at a certain time. And so I just go to bed. There's nothing to do, so I just went to bed, and like my sleep schedule was so fixed, it was perfect. And that's how people used to live, man. Like 200 years ago, people didn't struggle with their sleep like they do today. And the thing is, before like electricity and lights and stuff, people just went to bed when it was dark, and they got up when it was light. Like if it gets dark at 5 p.m, well, I guess I'm going to bed at 5 p.m. If it's light at 4 a.m, that's when the sun comes up. That's when I get up, And I think it was better for that, because nowadays people are staying up crazy hours. They're lying in. They're on their phones the whole time, so there's light even when it's dark outside, and all this stuff. Like, I know it's like a dead horse, but like really, it was like a glimpse into the past. I mean, being in Australia in general is a bit like a glimpse into the past, to be honest with you, at least where I was staying, like in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, I just thought it was better. I thought it was better. And I come back and my sleep schedule is immediately ruined because I'm jet lagged, and I just can't get back into it. I don't know what it is. Like I don't get tired, and I think a lack of sleep absolutely like contributes to like this feeling of anxiety, definitely. And I've had like terrible sleep here the last couple of days since I've been back. Like I had a pretty bad sleep when I was with my family too, because they stayed up really late for like New Year and Christmas and stuff. But I'd be lying if I was just blaming them. I'd be wrong. Like it's my fault as well, partially, because I just can't. I don't know why. I just can't get to sleep. I don't know. I don't know. The time comes around, I set a time to go to sleep. I do everything right. I looked it up. Or don't go on your phone like an hour before bed. Have a shower before, don't eat, don't act. I do all this stuff right, and it doesn't work. And then like I'm on my phone, and suddenly it's like 2 p.m. and I have to go to sleep, and then it's all fucked, because then I wake up at 10 p.m. and it's ruined. It's completely out of sync, right? And yeah, so I've been dealing with like a bit of anxiety this past week, I guess, that I've been back. Nowhere near as bad as February last year, not yet anyway. That's hope. But the thing is, that just like that ruins your ability to get work done. Like my schooling, the lectures and stuff here, they only start like at the end of January. I still have like a few days before they begin, and I've just been trying to get ahead with work, because if you guys remember, I had like this one like teacher a few months ago who I could barely understand. She could barely speak English. She has this really, really, really thick like Eastern European accent, I guess, and I had her for like 2 lectures. I could not understand a word of what she was saying. She's taken one of my entire like modules this next semester, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. So I've been trying to get ahead with that because I know I'm not going to learn anything from her. And my family's whining away at me. Oh, you need to go to lectures. Your attendance is bad. Your attendance is bad. Whatever. It's like, I know my attendance is bad. I genuinely believe, and I might be wrong about this, but I think out of every single student who actually like was in school and sat their exams, I think I might be the kid with the lowest attendance in the country for my college when I went to college. Like, genuinely, I was not there at all. Like, you know those kids who just go to school like one day, like a month, and then you never see them again for like half the year? Like, that was pretty much me. And that's me at university too, and that's the way I like it. But I have come up with a bit of a plan. What I think I'm going to start doing is I'm going to go to the lectures, because the thing about the lectures is there are two ways they record your attendance. One of them is you get your phone out and there's a big like code on the board, and you put it down on this website and it records that you were there, right? And the code changes every time, so you can't just like use the same one every time, right? Or the second way they do it is sometimes they have people standing at the doors like waiting to scan your like card. Like, you have an ID card and they scan it, right? And so my idea would basically be I would go into lectures, because all my lectures take place in this one hall where basically there's two like corridors going down either side. I think that's the way most lecture halls work. And what I would do is I would just go in one door and get my card signed, because they're waiting at these doors, right? So I would just go in one door and then just come out the other and just go home, to be honest. Or if it's the code, I'd just go in, sit down, put the code down and just leave, because there's also a door at the back, so I might go out that way, but I don't know, we'll see. So I like, there's no point in me going to these I guarantee as well the attendance to these lectures of this woman, they're going to be so low. And I'm not trying to be mean, by the way. Like, I know English, like learning a second language is not easy, and if you have an accent, I have an accent, it's fine, you know, it's fine. But I mean, everyone has an accent technically, but I like, if you're going to be a teacher, it's not fine. You know, I take that back, actually. It's not fine, because each of us is paying like thousands of pounds a year. Granted, it's in loans, right? But we're putting ourselves into debt to be here, to learn something, ideally. And we get this sack of shit trying to teach us. And you couldn't explain to a 5-year-old what 1 + 1 is with this accent. How are you going to teach more complicated topics to adults, you know? It's ridiculous. People are paying money for this, and if I say something, I'm the bad guy because I'm racist, apparently. Oh no, you can't say that. It's xenophobic. It's not. No, it's true. You know, it's true. No one can understand it, and I know for a fact that I'm not the only person who feels this way, because sometimes I think certain things, and I feel like I'm crazy because no one else sees things the way I do, right? But on this topic, I know for a fact that other people think the same as me, because I've been talking to people. Even on that at that terrible Halloween party I went to, we were standing in the line outside this bar, and we were talking to some people, and it turns out some of them were on the same course as me, and even they were complaining about her. It's the first time I didn't even say anything. I didn't even prompt them. They just came out of nowhere and just said, "Oh, hey, you know this? Yeah, did you have this lecturer? Yeah, she's terrible. I couldn't understand anything she said." So it's not just me, right? And that's why I think attendance is going to be so low. No one's going to want to go, but I'm going to go, get my stuff scanned or get the code in and just book it out of there, because I'm not sitting around for an hour in this stupid lecture hall. It's ridiculous, right? And I'm not going to any of my lectures for that matter, because it's a complete waste of time. People mumbling. I had, like this old guy talking about like crabs, and he was like, so the thing, and he kept covering his mouth with his hands, and it's like, you're in front of a lecture, don't do that, and he kept like laughing to himself, and he'd do stuff like, well, as you can see with this, well, I think it's pretty self-explanatory what's going on here. And it's like, no, it's not. It's your job to do it, to explain it. It's self-explanatory. No, it's not. What are you talking about? No, it's not self-explanatory. It's ridiculous. Paying thousands, but don't go. If you're a young person and you're thinking about going to university, don't. It's a joke. Do not waste your money. Keep it and do an apprenticeship, or just get a job, or just neat out if you can, or I don't know, just do anything is better than this, right? Being a bum on the street is better than this. I don't mean that. I'm grateful to have a place to live. I don't mean that. I'm just, yeah. But, you get my point, right? And then, like, I get anxiety about that as well, because it's like, if I fail my exams, then what's going to happen, Like, what am I going to do next year? Where am I going to live? Because the thing is, like, if I can't find a place to live by myself or with roommates, then I have to go and live with my family again. And I stayed with my family for, like, 2 weeks. over Christmas, and I could barely handle that. I don't know how I handled like basically like 19 years of living with my family without losing my mind. I mean, I guess I did kind of lose my mind. I'm not going to stay with my family again. Like I will sooner be like homeless or something like that before I live with my family. I had this idea actually, maybe some of you guys could tell me what you think about this. But I thought, like, if I get a car, first of all, I need to pass my driving test. Like, that's, like, the first thing. And then I buy a car. And it doesn't have to be anything nice. It can be a small, beaten up, old, used car, you know, but something that I can take care of and live out of, right? Now, living out of a car obviously isn't ideal. What I could do is I could basically take everything I have now, like, everything I own and I have with me, like, in my room at university, and just send it all home to my family. Also get like a laptop or something and just make videos out of my car. Like, I know, like, saying this out loud, it sounds terrible. Like, it sounds like a horrible idea. But, like, seriously, I would sooner do that than go back and live with my family. And the thing is, I brought this up, like, years ago. Well, not years, but, like, maybe a year or two ago to my family because I had a feeling, like, this day would come. And I said to them, like, what do you think about that? And they were like, that's stupid, that, oh, you know, the usual shit. I mean, what did you expect? Did you expect my family to sit down and talk with me and logically discuss the issues with this? No, of course not. They gaslit me. They made me feel completely invalid, as usual. And they were like, oh, that's stupid, that's a terrible idea, you can't live out your car, don't be ridiculous, all this crap, right? You wonder why I don't want to live with my family, right? But the thing is, like, the alternative is going to live with them, and, like, I can't live with that. I will lose my mind. I will lose my mind if I live with my family. I couldn't handle it for 2 weeks. I could not handle it for 2 weeks living with my family. It drove me crazy, right? I cannot live with them permanently. So, yeah. But, I mean, that's catastrophizing, you know, that's, like, looking way into the future when, I might not even drop out. I might do well in my exams. It could happen, you know. And the second year is at least secure because, here's some more good news. I know I said there wasn't any good news, but here's some potentially good news. Is I got accepted to the year abroad program to Florida. So my second year at university, like 2024, 2025, I'm going to spend in Florida, which is pretty exciting, maybe, I guess. I have no idea how I got accepted because my attendance is, like, shockingly poor and I don't even do half of the exams, which is something else I need to talk about in a second. But yeah, I got accepted onto this Florida trip, which is great. That's good. It's a good thing. So I don't know if anyone's in Florida listening to this, but yeah, I'm coming to Florida soon. I have no idea where. I assume it's like an exchange program with another university, but I don't know which. Miami, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, there you go. So that's some potentially good news. So, because I know there was like a huge argument as well between Chang and Jesse. Like, they were talking about like housing next year, and Jesse was like, I'm trying to find you guys housing next year for all of us. And then Chang was like, oh, I don't give a shit about that. And I was just like, hey, like, I'm not going to be here next year, so don't worry about it, you know, which is good. Like, anything that can get me out of that conflict between those two, or any conflict for that matter, is good in my book. Anyway, yeah, test. I need to talk about this test. I said in my last video I had a test on the 10th of January. Well, anyway, I showed up to, I think I might have mentioned this as well, but basically I got locked out of my email because I got a new phone. The emails here require like an authenticator app, but because I have a new phone, it didn't recognize it. So I basically got locked out of my email, and the only way to fix it was to email the like tech support at the university. So I did that on like the 6th or the 7th of January, or maybe even the 5th, I don't remember, like very early. And I checked like the next day, and I got like an automated email response saying, the university information desk and tech support is closed from like the 19th of December, something like that, to the 3rd of January or the 4th of January, right? Bear in mind, this was like the 7th or the 8th of January at this point. So according to them, they should have been open, but I still got an automated email response, right? So I was waiting for days and days and days to get a response from them, right? Finally, on the 9th of January, I got a response, and I had to talk to them, and I had to give them information, like my name and the course I was on and stuff, and it's like, just let me in my bloody account. I get why they do it, but, you know, I have a test here, and it matters because I can't log into the university to do my exam because they're all online for some reason, so I can't actually do my exam unless I have my login details, and it's on the 10th, so it's like, can we, you know, get this going, please? And I wasn't rude to, you know, don't get me, like, I'm never rude to people, but in my head I was thinking, like, come on, hurry this up, right? Finally, on the morning of the 10th, I got back into my account, so I was like, thank goodness, yeah, I can do this test in time. I checked, turns out the test is actually on the 8th of January, right? So, I mean, I don't know if they changed the date, I don't know if I just got it wrong. Probably the latter, to be honest. But the thing is, even if I had known, there's nothing I could have done, because I didn't get, like, I emailed them before that day, and I didn't get a response until the exam had already passed, let alone get back into my account to even find out, let alone do the test, right? So it's just, like, for once, it's genuinely not my fault. And I have no idea who to email. You know, I don't know who to talk to, like tech support, like but they don't, you know, they just deal with the account. It's not like they set the test. I could email like the leader of the course, but it's this woman who's been so rude to me in the past, you know. It's the same woman who was going on, if any of you guys remember this, about like how like having a certain way of doing the test where if you get a wrong answer it takes points away from you, like that makes women like do worse on the test, so she doesn't want to do it because she hates men, so she doesn't want to give them any advantage, obviously. It was that woman, so I don't want to talk to her, I don't want to ask her for help. And the thing is, I already know what they're going to say. They're going to say, well, there are computers at the university, and if you you know, we gave you the information about the test, if you'd gone to one of those computers and signed in, then you could have done the test, and it doesn't require authentication, or something like, they'll say something like that. I already know they will. They'll blame me, I know that for sure. And I'm pretty sure this test actually contributes to a grade as well, like this one actually matters, so it's obviously not a good situation. I'll try and get it sorted out. I haven't even told my family, because I know they're probably going to blame me as well. They're going to be like, oh, you do, I mean, whatever bullshit. It's so annoying, man. I'm just sick of dealing with these people. I really am. You know, I'm sick of putting up with everyone's bullshit and being blamed for everything. I will accept blame on the things that are my fault. Is it my fault that my old phone got destroyed? Yes, that is 100% my fault, right? Is it my fault that I didn't get the right day for the exam, assuming that they didn't change it? Yes, that's my fault. But is it my fault that I missed the test? No, it's not my fault, because the help desk should have been open, they should have been there, and they weren't. So what can I say? Right, what can I do? I can't do anything. Anyway, yeah. And in regards to Chang and Jesse, there's been a weird fucking thing that happened last night, like literally last night as I'm recording this. So it was like 5 a.m, yeah, like 4:45. As I said, my sleep schedule is fucked, and I was in the shower, I was just taking a shower, and I heard like this banging, the sound of like metal banging. So I was like, well, whatever, you know, it's a bit weird, but I assumed it was something to do with the pipes, because like obviously I'd just been back from staying with my family, and if anyone from the kind of London area knows, the pipes do tend to bang when you take a shower. And you know, this is a fairly modern building, so I'm thinking like, that's a bit weird, but you know, whatever, I guess. But it kept happening, and I turned the water off, and whenever I turned the water off to listen, like it would stop, and then I start the water up again, and it would keep banging. So I was like, oh, it's definitely the pipes, you know, if that's what's going on. Anyway, eventually it got so loud that I could tell, like, it's not the sound of metal banging, it's the sound of glass, right? It's the sound of someone banging on glass. So I opened the door I turned the shower off, and I opened the door to my bathroom, and there is like someone banging on my window, and it's so loud that I feel like the window is about to shatter. Like, I'm not exaggerating. Like, I've had like Chang and Jesse get locked out of the apartments before, and they come and knock on my window, because they're not going to knock on each other's windows, are they? They hate each other, so they always come running to me. Oh, Corey, let me back in, Corey, let me back in. And they bang on the window. You know, they have done so in the past. I know what it sounds like, and it's not this loud. This sounds like someone's genuinely trying to break in. So I'm like panicking. I'm thinking, is someone trying to break into my apartment? Am I about to be like, you know, stolen from? Am I about to be raped? I don't know. You know, you don't know what's going to happen. Anyway, and I'm naked as well and dripping wet. Bear that in mind as well. Like, if anything's going to stop you in your tracks when it comes to, you know, decisive action, it's that. So I run over to my phone, and I have like a bunch of texts from Jesse, and he's like, hey, I got locked out, can you let me back in? And the banging stopped, so I like text him back, because I assume he has his phone on him. So I was like, are you outside right now? And he's like, yeah. So I go and let him in. I put a towel on, right? I'm not naked completely, but the thing is, I know he's not going to stop until I let him back in, so I got to go do it. So I let him in. He's obviously completely drunk. Like, I had a feeling anyway, but like, I can just see straight away from looking at him he's drunk. He didn't even say anything about me being like naked in a towel. Like, he didn't even care. But he just like followed me back in. I let him back in, and he started talking to me about this shit, and he was saying like he was hanging outside with some people, and some guy came up to them and started causing problems. And first of all, like, incredibly vague. Like, I can't help but notice that's incredibly vague. And also, it doesn't really explain how he got locked out of his room. And the thing is, the whole night, like, 'cause I was up the whole night, and for a few hours, like, I heard, like, running down the hall and stuff, like, banging on, like, walls and stuff. I'd look through the little peephole we have on our door, and I could see Jesse, like, running up and down and looking around like he's confused and stuff, and it was just really weird, but I didn't really think anything of it. But yeah, then he came back in. He followed me to my door. Bear in mind, like, as you come into our like hall, his door is like the first one as you go in. Like, there's the hall that goes down, and there's a bunch of doors either side that lead to people's rooms, and his one is the first one. So there's no reason for him to come in any further. And my one's like in the middle, like down the opposite side to his. So I start going back to my room, and he's like following me like a dog follows its owner, and I'm like naked and I'm dripping wet, and I'm like, dude, like, let me finish my shower. And he's trying to tell me all this stuff, and he's like, oh, I say that, and he's like, oh yeah mate, enjoy your shower, yeah. And he pats me on the shoulder, like my bare naked wet shoulder, which is disgusting, right? And I go back in and finish my shower. Anyway, oh yeah, I missed another thing, sorry. After that, I watched him. He went back out. So bear in mind, there's like a door into the building, and then there's a door into the individual halls, and then there's the door that goes into people's apartments, right? And he said to me, oh, I'm gonna go get a new key, because you had to go to the security office to get a new key made for your door, and they're not actual keys, they're key cards, right? He then went back out of the building to go do this. So it's like, what was the point of me even letting you in the first place if you're just going to immediately go there, you know? Mental, you know? Yeah, like, really weird. And anyway, the next morning I woke up, well, not the next morning, later that afternoon I woke up, right? And I walked into the kitchen, and there was this smell, this ungodly smell. I have never smelled anything this bad in my life. It smelled like somebody had died in there, right? It was disgusting. And I checked my phone, and there was like a message in the group chat, which, bear in mind, the group chat is like completely dead at this point ever since these two started arguing. But there's a message from Jesse, and he's like, hey, he's very vague again, but he's like, basically, from what I can gather, in his drunken state, he tried to cook something and probably fell asleep or something like that and completely burnt it. And it reeks, like, I'm telling you, it is. If any of you guys have ever gone camping and then you have a fire, like a campfire, and then the next day when it's all burnt out and there's like white everywhere, if you know the smell of that, it was like that times 100. It was disgusting, right? It was I couldn't be in the kitchen. I couldn't stand that. I have a pile of dishes in the sink that need to be washed up. I can't do it. I can't go in there. It's like Auschwitz in there. It's disgusting. And yeah, and that's the situation. He didn't even apologize, might I add. Like, I want to keep my voice down in case he hears me, to be honest, but like, really, like, come on, you know. And Chang was complaining to me about it, and I was like, yeah, it stinks. And he was like, yeah, it's fucked, man. And the thing is, Chang's back now. I saw him. He has a ridiculous haircut. He looks like Kim Jong-un. He got the sides of it shaved, so it's just like this floppy bit on top, and he looks pretty ridiculous. But it's good to have him back. I do like. I know I just said that. I do like him. It's good to have people back. I just hope people start getting along, to be honest, which is wishful thinking, I guess. But yeah. At least they're not fighting with me yet, I guess. At least they haven't found out about my channel yet. Yeah, anyway. That's pretty much it. I'll get this edited and uploaded for you guys. Yeah, anyway. Next video will be the army video. I'm sorry it wasn't this video, but I had to talk about this stuff. Yeah, and I'm also going to order a new microphone, so hopefully it might sound a bit better. Anyway, yeah, thank you. Love you guys. Bye. That's pretty much it.